Minecraft is a game of survival, action, adventure, creation, destruction, love, hate, and I suck at it. So in this series, I'm going to try to suck significantly less. My adventure began when I boldly decided to start a new survival world. Trying to think of a name, I came up with the only thing that made sense given the circumstances. Survive, please. And so, with that bold showing of confidence, I started up my world and let it generate. My adventure began in the middle of this spruce forest, where the first thing I did was chop down a tree. And then I did what any Minecrafter would do. I built a crafting table. I got my first tools. But then I made my first mistake.
I left World Edit on.
So rather than go ahead and disable the mod, which would take about 2 seconds, I just did a shipwreck raid.
Oh hey, Polar Bear.
The thing about this shipwreck was, it was deep underwater, so to get to the loot, I would need the most cunning talents possible. And yes, I found my first armor templates. And after I definitely didn't almost die, I made my way back to the surface. I immediately found a second shipwreck, this one cleverly disguised by the ice floe it had lodged itself inside. But that did not deter me. I made my way around it, trying to find a way up. And I did. I broke into this shipwreck and looted it for all it was worth. And then I triumphantly made my way back to the surface. I triumphantly began to leave before realizing there was probably a second chest. And that second chest was right next to me. We're not talking about this later. And then I actually left the ship. But little did I know, I was about to make a new enemy. Those polar bears from earlier remembered me and did not take kindly to my presence.
Yep, that thing's trying to kill me.
But I escaped and claimed a new home.
It's mine now. So I do know one thing that a lot of people do in this game generally is they choose to make their first base like this. I think they generally wait to have torches though.
My heroic strategy for surviving the first night was undermined by the fact that I was stuck in a hole. I decided to press on and grab some more wood from my surroundings. Unable to use my wooden axe, I defaulted to the sharpest thing in my inventory. And then I got too proud of myself for cutting down 2 trees at the same time in this really cool time lapse. To my credit, it looks amazing, but my troubles were only beginning. When I hit the ground, I was faced with one of Minecraft's greatest adversaries.
See what I mean? This is when you do a day zero base. So this guy doesn't come. The important thing about day zero bases is they are for cowards. Everyone knows this. You acknowledge that it's for a coward. And here you are. Home sweet home.
And so then I began building my day zero base, a place to hide from the world that hated me.
There is a formula I generally use when I try this.
During this portion, I tried to explain to the camera my strategy for how to get iron. Unfortunately, it was lost amidst the chaos. Desperate enough to eat rotten flesh, I decided to construct a classroom. So this is my grand theory about how to get enough iron to start in Minecraft. There's a certain minimum required. 5 for a helmet, 8 for a chest plate, 7 for pants. That gets you to a total of 20 just for armor. Your boots will be gold. We'll get to that. And then you need tools. By my estimation, the minimum you need are a sword, and a pickaxe, which gives you a total of 5 extra iron, which means you need 30 iron to get started. On top of that, you need a flint and steel to go to the nether, and a bucket for general safety, plus 2 for shears. That's an additional 5, so you need 35 iron to get started. When I originally recorded this portion, I assumed you need iron for boots also, and my mouth on the board reflects that. However, I've since realized that it's probably better to use gold. Later versions of my unified theory of Minecraft will reflect this change. And now, on with the show.
I deemed this area good enough for day 0 crops. Okay, bro. Oh, you. Really? Okay, that does me a favor, actually. Because it gives me enough to make a first pick without having to go mining again.
And this was the moment where everything went wrong.
Oh, I'm dead.
To my eternal shame, this is the moment where my failures caught up with me, where I could no longer reconcile what I had done with who I was. I realized I would have to start over. My quest for a new home began with me attempting to find my old, but such things were not meant to be. As I ascended the mountain and looked at my surroundings, I realized I was lost. And so I began to gather new food for a new story, a new adventure, without guilt.
I'm very sorry for what I must do. Am I proud of that? No. Did I do what I had to do to survive? Probably.
But I had to do it. I had to get a bed. I had to skip the night.
Oh, you. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
But my fortunes turned when I found an igloo. An igloo was an extra great find because underneath every igloo lies 2 villagers, and you can use those to start your villager army without the necessary step of committing war crimes. Or so I thought. And so I entered my home, secure in the knowledge that those sheep I killed were definitely not wasted. Someone had put a bed in my igloo. The next morning, I set out to make my home more livable. And that is what I did. I cleared out the ground below me, allowing me to walk out my own front door for the first time in a new world. And then I cleared out the trees, too. As I was doing this, I asked myself what my goal is for this series, and I realized I've never beaten the game alone. I should probably do that. And after that, who knows? The world's my oyster, except there aren't oysters in Minecraft. I think the long-term goals of this series are best left up to audience interpretation, so really, if you have one, please let me know. I don't really believe in asking people to like, comment, and subscribe. It feels kind of gross, but if you do, there's a better chance to make more of these, so do with that what you will. Anyway, after I finished outside, I went back in to find those villagers that were definitely in there. The results were so shocking I had to call a press conference to determine what to do next. It is with great sadness and misfortune I must report to you, the general Minecraft public, that I have failed to find any villagers underneath my house. It appears I was gravely mistaken. But I did have one more miracle waiting for me.
Ladies, gentlemen, and those not previously mentioned, we have overcome great adversity today. We started off with a very good start with 2 shipwrecks, and then died because I'm bad at this game, And now here we are, about to take attempts to starting a mine. What was that? And at that moment I realized, a lake in front of me, an enemy behind. This was the perfect time for a cliffhanger.